KIPELEKA says his son Godefroy, a lawyer, was imprisoned last year for defending political activists. He says security agents fabricated evidence at his trial and abused him in custody, something the security agencies deny.
He was handcuffed, doused in cold water, thrown on the ground and beaten. He submitted a complaint to the court, but it was ignored. After 2 days in court, he was taken to prison.
These 6 activists were luckier. They were released last week following a raft of pardons by the president. They, and Godefroy, are among dozens of activists and opposition figures who've been arrested and detained, they say, for political reasons. State prosecutors back in Kinshasa say they're in prisons because they've committed crimes. Many of those people are inside here, Makala Central Prison. Some have been convicted of trying to violently overthrow the government, others of trying to organise illegal demonstrations. The government says that none of these detentions are politically motivated. The presidential pardons include some of them, as well as the elderly and many other non-violent criminals. Lawyer Georges KAPIAMBA represents 49 people who he says are all political prisoners. He says most are still detained, and he says the pardons are because of pressure from the United Nations and threats of sanctions against individuals by the United States and Belgium.
We think the pressure should continue against President Kabila and his government so that all political prisoners are freed before they start political dialogue.
And a dialogue with all parties, the government says, is the way forward to peaceful elections. Opposition have held several protests demanding for President Joseph Kabila to step down at the end of his second term in December. They say he wants to stay in power beyond the constitutional limit. This one in June was dispersed by police with tear gas. The government says it's not ready to hold elections scheduled for November, and it rejects the foreign involvement.
We really ask for the judiciary to be respected, that's all. You don't come to a country and take the place of the judiciary when there is question of prisons or what.
Imedo and his relatives say they're certain that Godefroy's not guilty. The court convicted him for insulting the head of state and parliament. His family's hope is that he will also be pardoned. Malcolm Webb, Jazeera, Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo.